Hello, welcome, Restore Family Chiropractic family. I am Dr. Todd. I am our clinic director and our founder. And if you are new, or maybe you only come at certain shifts or something at certain times of week, you haven't seen me in a while. But hopefully you've at least gotten a few text updates from me. And I wanted to give you an opportunity right now to to tell my story, because it is our mission to inform, inspire, and empower our community to make decisions for health. And I think this is a great opportunity to do it. And the reason for that is, if you've been getting the text updates, or you've been asking my team in the office, I have been home for less than a week. I just passed my 2-week anniversary from having massive open heart surgery, and I feel like I'm bionic. I feel like a miracle has happened. I feel like I could touch the sky right now, and I wanted to come on here and explain to you why that might be. Because if I'm going to inform, inspire, and empower you, then perhaps you can make some more decisions for your health as well. First, the story is I first had started developing heart problems in 2003. Something totally unrelated. I developed an infection. Back then, we didn't know what MRSA was. They just called it a superbug. It infected the heart. I needed a new heart valve. And about 11 years later, that heart valve had reached the end of its life. And so I got another one. I got another heart valve put in England, which is where I got my PhD. And then 9.5 years later, that one reached the end of its life. And that's what brings us to about 2 weeks ago. First off, it's important to note that this, and I want to make this comment right now, sometimes life events happen, and they just happen. And you've got to do, you can do everything right along the way, but you can eat right, you can get adjusted, you can get, take all the right supplements, have the right mindset, avoid toxins, exercise, and everything else, and you're still going to get in a car accident, right? You're still going to get bit by a rabid squirrel, right? Something is still going to happen. Your number's still going to be called, and for most people, it's going to be called several times over the course of our lives. And in my case, my number was just called again for my 3rd open heart surgery. And in my case, what makes this, the fact that I'm standing here, even more miraculous, is it wasn't just that it was an open heart surgery. It was my 3rd one, which is supposed to be way worse than the first and the second. In fact, it was way worse than the first and the second, because you know those Russian nesting dolls, right? Well, when it's like a doll that sits inside of another doll. When I had my heart surgery in England, instead of cutting out the other valve, he just placed another one right on top of it. And I'm imagining my surgeons opening me up 2 weeks ago, looking inside and going, telling their assistant to cancel their golf match for the day because it's going to be a long one, and it was. It was an extra 4 or 5 or 6 or something hours. I was under for more than a whole day. I woke up the following morning, and it was an extremely difficult, extra intense surgery. So it was my 3rd one. It was the most intense, and yet I still feel bionic, like this has been a miracle. And I want to explain to you why I think that is. And so I've got 3 reasons as to why that's possible. And there's more than 3, but I wanted to break it down to 3. So first reason is expect miracles. Miracles happen where you most expect them. If you train yourself to go looking for miracles, you will find them. And by the way, they will start appearing before you. In my case, and this is key, your body listens to your mind. Your mind isn't your brain, by the way. Your mind is something else, right? We can measure it in your brain, but your mind is telling your body something that's always doing it. There is a mind-body connection that is undoubtable. When you're in 8th grade and you go meet that special someone underneath that special tree and the moon is shining a certain way and your heart starts beating faster, nothing happened, but you had a biological response based off of a thought, right? And we know that these thoughts, the way you control your mind, can affect your body in many, many ways. So in my case, I have spent years training my mind to do what I want it to do. There's certainly some things that'll always need work on, but I mean this sincerely. I haven't had a bad day in years. I was lying in the hospital a couple of days, about a week and a half ago, unable to move. My chest had been sawed in half. I was in pain, but I didn't have a bad day. So I trained my mind to not have a bad day, and anybody can do that. It's not even that hard. You just have to be intentional and conscious about it. I always tell this story about, and some of the things I tell this story when I do my lunch and learns, but when we were launching this office, I did everything behind the scenes before anybody even knew that it was happening. And one of the most stressful days possible happened while I was 3 states away or 4 states away in Minneapolis. And given that my research the last several years has been around stress, I shouldn't have stressful days. So a stressful event happened that involved this office that really put it at jeopardy. Like, oh, is this going to open or not? I poured a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy into this. Is this really going to take off? Is this really going to matter before the doors are even open? And so if you've been to one of my lunch talks, it's the first thing I tell you to do when you're stressed. Change your physiology, right? And changing your physiology could mean going for a walk. It could mean just, power pose, standing up straight, whatever it is, but it starts with changing your physiology. So for me, I went to Costco just to walk. I'm in Minneapolis, and I go to Costco just to take a walk. And I wasn't shopping. And I've trained myself, and I didn't do this on on purpose while I was at Costco, but I trained myself where, you know what they say when you go to a grocery store, and they don't always mean it, it's just being polite, but when you leave a grocery store, what do they say to you? They say, have a good day, right? Well, my default pat answer is, anytime somebody says this to me, and I still do this, and I think you should do this, is no matter what my posture is, I stand up straight, and I say, I always have a good day. And I say it just like that. I say it like I mean it, right? Repetition is the key to mastery. So I've been repeating this for years. So there I am at Costco. I have a stressful day, and I go, I always have a good day. And I went, oh, I do always have a good day. And like that, the stress was gone. It was miraculous. Like that, gone. Out the window. The event hadn't taken care of itself yet. We still had to do some things, but there were things that were out of my control. What's the point of stressing over it? My point is, if you learn to train your mind to direct your health, your body will listen and it will respond. We see this all the time. When I'm at an event or I'm giving a talk or something else is going on, somebody will say, oh, I have blank. You can't help me, I have blank. Right? And as soon as you say, we can't help you, the answer is you're right, we can't. Because you just told us that you can't. Right? Because you've spent so much time training yourself that you'd rather hang your identity on this diagnosis. Well, for me, I hang my identity on there's an amazing adventure in front of me. And by the way, when the day of surgery, they wheeled me down. They woke me up at like 5:30. They didn't take me down until like 9:30. Like, why did you wake me up so early for this? Under normal circumstances, you can expect that to be stressful. Ask Dr. Marissa. She was the only one with me. Unless you want to ask the nurses. I think she will vouch for this. I wasn't stressed at all. When I went into the operating room, man, that is designed to raise your cortisol levels. Mine were cool as a cucumber. I had 20 or 30 people, and I mean, it was just all doing all sorts of tests, introducing yourself, doing their pre-operation stuff. I don't know what these people are doing. But one of the most validating things that have ever happened in my life was one of the things I remember was waking up in the ICU and having one of the people, I don't even know who it was because I was barely awake, but I heard them say, oh, I remember him. I've never seen anything like it. I remembered the person saying that when I was in the ICU. I remember this guy. I've never seen anything like this. because of the way that I walked into it, cool as a cucumber. I'm saying this to say that you can train your mind in such a way that you want your body to listen. And I approached this like it was an adventure. It wasn't an obstacle. It wasn't a, considered all pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of many kinds. It wasn't a trial because there was no villain, right? I wasn't being oppressed for it. It's just something happened, and I've got a wonderful opportunity to come out of this event a brand new person. And by the way, in hindsight, I look back and I go, well, actually, there were some things looking at my physical fitness that can very easily be explained by that, Russian nesting dolls thing. So, so the number one thing is to train your mind. And in a couple of weeks, on October 21st, I think it's at 9 a.m., please come to our workshop. Sign-up sheets are on the table. Go talk to Danielle or Aubrey about it, or Tasha or Dr. Marissa. But I need you there. I need your friends and family there. Because one of the things we're going to be talking about is how to develop that ironclad mind. So that when your body listens to your mind, it listens to the things that you want your body to do, not the opposite. So make sure that you sign up for this workshop. I'm also, by the way, it's a good chance to plug this. This week I'm writing a new lunch talk based off of my experiences of a couple weeks ago. So some of you guys we met at a lunch talk that I gave. I go into businesses or book clubs or churches or whatever, and I will buy you lunch and I'll come in and do a health talk. I'm writing a new talk, and this is some of the material from that talk. So, act like you've heard it for the first time. But I really want to come into your business and do that too. So in the coming weeks and months, you're going to be hearing Danielle and Aubrey and Dr. Marissa or me openly inviting, to see if that's an opportunity for us to come in and do a talk for you. So number one, again, if you're just sitting down, this video is made to be either on our social media or it's made to be in our warm-up area on the wobbles. I'm Dr. Todd. I'm the clinic director and founder, and I'm telling you about how I was able to overcome heart surgery just 2 weeks ago and be able to be pretty close to 100% pretty quickly. And the first one was to expect miracles. Miracles happen when you most expect them. The second one is do the things, and do the things now. Don't wait till later to do the things. The worst time to approach your accountant about your taxes is in tax season, right? Do your taxes as you go. Do your profit loss statements or keep your receipts or whatever it is as you go, so that when it comes time to it, you're prepared. Every human being is going to be in a car accident or is going to be caught with a superbug or bit by a mosquito that went too far, or something is going to happen. It's going to happen several times over the course of your life. One of my main jobs is to make sure you're prepared for it. So the second way to do that is to do the things. What are the things? Again, this is a teaser for the workshop October 21st. But the things, the things are, the first one is, if it's not food, don't eat it. Most of the things in the grocery store are not food, and I don't mean the battery aisle. I mean, if it's got an ingredients list full of things you can't pronounce, you don't want to eat it. Do not eat it. Don't put it in your mouth, because your body will make it part of your body. If you've ever been into my talks, I always talk about eat like a shark. Somebody needs to make shirts about this. I need to copyright this before someone else steals it. Eat like a shark is this. When you are when you're at the ocean, one of the rules are don't swim at dawn or dusk. And the reason is because sharks will be down below and they will look up and they will see a silhouette of some kind and they will get confused. And then they will swim up, maybe bump it with their nose, poke a little, prod, maybe nibble, maybe bite. Usually that's where it ends. 1 in a zillion times there's an actual shark attack that goes beyond that. Most shark attacks stop there. And the reason for that is we're not on the menu. Sharks don't eat us because we're not on the menu. They'll eat anything else, it seems like, but they won't eat us because we're not on the menu. When you go to Kroger or Meijer or Walmart or whatever, and you see all of these things that aren't food that are dressed up like food because they got pretty coloring, they've got a cartoon character on the box, or they don't, by the way. A lot of them have really tricky labels. It will say organic, but it'll have canola oil. What the heck is that all about? Right? They're designed to trick you. It's all marketing, right? That's not food, so don't eat it. Another one is, if it is food, eat it. And eat it to your needs. And I'm not going to, this isn't the time to talk about carnivore versus paleo versus keto versus vegan or whatever else. I will say eat to your needs, but make sure you're eating good food, quality whole foods, and make sure that's the majority of your diet. Another one is exercise, like your life depends on it. Movement is life. And if movement is life, then you've got to get out and move. So exercise, keep a routine. For some people, that's just 3 10-minute walks a day. Sometimes that means go to the gym. I think everybody should be doing something resistance level at least once or twice a week. It could be sprints. It could be in the gym doing actual resistance stuff, because this is because of the body hormones that come as a part of that. Growth hormone, testosterone mostly, that lowers cortisol levels. It's the right amount of, we call it hormesis, but the survival stress, or the stress that allows your body to adapt and grow. So I think everybody should be doing that. But at the end of the day, exercise like your life depends on it, because you'll be glad that you did. Take the best supplements. Another one. And I'll spare you the trouble. We have the best supplements on the shelf. If you're in our warm-up area, it's behind you to the right. There is nobody in this warm-up area right now that won't benefit from about, most people should be taking 3 or 4 of these at least. The first one is, let's say, bone broth protein. Bone broth protein should be on everyone's menu. Ever skip breakfast, or you're too busy, or you forget, or cooking is too hard, or whatever it is? Literally, a bone broth protein, you can put that into a shaker, add some almond milk or some water, or you want to put it in the blender, you can add in some berries or something, and bam, that's an amazing breakfast. I like taking the vanilla bone broth protein, and I put it in Greek yogurt, add a little bit of honey, add a little bit of berries, and there's my breakfast. And that takes 2 minutes of prep time. It's, considering you're eating a whole meal, it's pretty cheap, and you're getting the nutrition that you need. And one of the reasons you want to do bone broth protein is because whey protein, which is what most of them are, number one, is so full of fillers. You don't know what you're getting when you go to Costco or Kroger or Walmart or Vitamin Shop. But it's a poorly regulated industry, right? I know, and I can vouch for all of the supplements that are on our shelf because they're third-party tested. Like, I know the people who have tested them. They're verified, right? These are verified in an industry where nothing is verified, right? So we know that what's in the label, on the label, is in the container. And when it comes to bone broth protein versus anything else, bone broth has a million other benefits, but whey protein is dairy. It makes you bloat. You don't feel very good afterwards. There's usually a bunch of extra junk in there. Whereas the bone broth protein, man, we use it for, we put it in hot chocolate, right? It's good for hair, skin, nails. It clears up free radicals. It just makes you feel better, right? So there's nobody here who should not be taking bone broth protein. Another one, especially in the winter's coming, N-acetylcysteine, NAC. NAC is good to boost your immune system. And it is probably, I would say it's probably the number one supplement right now that if you don't want to get sick and you want to be healthy, take an NAC. Another one is vitamin D. Ohio does not get great sunlight. Surprise. Vitamin D, most humans in Ohio should be taking 10,000 vitamin E a day in the winter months, and maybe 5,000 in the summer months, maybe 10,000 in the summer months. That's a high dose. By the way, perfectly healthy dose. Mega dosing goes way, way, way beyond that, the tests show. But everybody should be doing, I believe, everybody should be doing a lot of vitamin D every day. And there's a few other things on the shelf. Just ask Danielle about them. I've tasked her to become an expert on these things. But being experts at supplements, and they're supplements. They're not meals, except for the bone broth. But they're supplements. So these are things that are meant to supplement your diet, because you are what you eat and you are what comes in. So taking the best supplements will help. And we'll talk more about that at the workshop on October 21st. Don't forget to sign up. Sign-up sheets on the table. Ask Danielle or Aubrey how to do that. And please bring a guest. It's a Saturday morning. We did that so that you'd be better off bringing a guest. Bring a spouse or whatever, because this is our chance to really inform, inspire, and empower our community. Because you're coming in and doing that is so much better if you bring somebody else, and birds of a feather fly together, right? So if you guys can learn with your spouses and family members or whatever to grow together, how much farther will you fly? Another one, again, we'll talk about this at the workshop too, but avoid toxins. Avoid toxins, and I don't have the study in front of me, but if you see our, what do I call it? It's eat, buy, use, or something like that. The this, not that cabinet against the wall. There's one side have this, one side don't have this. So toxins includes things in your diet, but includes a lot of things maybe you haven't thought of, which is water. Don't drink tap water. In fact, don't drink a lot of forms of water. We'll talk more about what those forms of waters might look like at the workshop. But environmental toxins, make sure that you're getting good air. Make sure you're avoiding chemicals. And again, I started to say this, but I don't have the study in front of me, but they did a study where they took families where one person did most of the cleaning and the other one didn't. And the person that did most of the cleaning, that person was something like 8 times more likely to get cancer. Almost every cancer, over 85% of cancers, is environmental, which makes it 100% preventable. So avoiding toxins will help put your body in a position to heal. Right? And when your number is called, and again it will be, we want you to be in the best position possible. And by the way, I don't even want to wait for the car accident or the heart surgery. Being healthier is feeling healthier. Health isn't how you feel, it is how you heal, right? And health isn't a state, it's a trajectory. You're either moving towards health or away from health, right? It's like a stock market. Sometimes you're moving fast, sometimes you're moving slow, but either way you're always moving. We want you to move up towards health. Avoiding toxins, taking supplements, eating the right foods, avoiding the bad foods, exercising, and having the right mindset are all important components of that. Which is an interesting, because I want to bring up another one. What do you do with pharmaceuticals? We have a bell. If you're in our hot seat area, you'll notice this bell over here. We call it the Freedom Bell, and maybe we should talk about this bell more, because it's a freedom bell. And it's a freedom bell because when people get off pharmaceuticals, they're supposed to ring that bell saying, I've gotten off of them. And it's important to note that we don't get anybody off of pharmaceuticals. What we do is we put the body in a position to heal itself so that these drugs that you were on, you don't have to use anymore. But I will say, pharmaceuticals have its place. They have their place, right? They are a last resort, not a first resort. I have to take a few right now because I don't know of another alternative. But that's the only reason. My job is always to get off of them. I had a conversation with a guy one time that said that he is on blood pressure medication. And I said, well, what would it mean to you to be healthy? What would it mean to you to get off of this medication? And he said, I'm on the medication because I'm healthy. No. The medication doesn't make you healthy. Medication masks the symptoms. Healthy means you're free from this. Healthy means that your body's responding by raising your blood pressure. And by the way, fun fact, I want to say this. I had very high blood pressure for the first time in my life right before my surgery. And that's a good thing. And when I explained this to the nurses and to the doctors, they went, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. And here's why. I needed a new heart surgery. I needed a new aortic valve because my heart wasn't being effective. It was basically, there was a leak, right? So blood was pumping through, but it was also kind of coming out the sides, right? So if you think about it like a garden hose or something where your body needs a certain amount of blood to go through, how do you do that? Is you increase the pressure. So my body knew that to survive at least long enough so we can get an intervention, it had to increase the blood pressure. That was a good thing. Hooray! And I explained that to the nurses and the doctors, and they went, oh the cardiologist I spoke to hadn't thought of that. And he said, wow, that makes sense. So your body's really good at responding, but that's a short-term solution. I don't want my blood pressure to be up there. In my case, I needed surgery to fix it, but that's the place of pharmaceuticals, is they do have a place, but they are also, in most cases, highly toxic. So they are not a long-term solution. So once again, I'm Dr. Todd Marquis. I'm our clinic director, and I'm telling you about the amazing, miraculous recovery I've had. I'm about 2 weeks out from open heart surgery. I haven't even been home for a week yet. And I'm giving you my 3 reasons why I think that is. And the first reason was miracles happen when you most expect them. The second one is do the things. And the third one is see the best doctor no matter what. That's a funny one. Why would I say that? Well, if you know my heart history, you know that it's pretty complicated. And I started this video by saying in 2003 I had heart surgery, had it again in 2014, and then I had it again 2 weeks ago. And then I had a heart failure sort of in the middle there. And so for me, I knew that the best heart doctor for me is in Phoenix, Arizona. So I flew out to Phoenix to see him. And I became friends with him, and I've talked to him consistently over the last, especially leading up to the surgery, as a friend, not as somebody who's seeking out a cardiologist. But he is one of the best at what he does. Second, for me to have this surgery, I didn't have it done here in town. I went to Cleveland for it. And I'm very blessed that I live in Columbus, but Cleveland is 2 hours away. People fly from all over the world. It is number one in the world at what it does. So I'll go to Phoenix for my cardiologist. I will go to Cleveland for my heart surgery, and I will go to Columbus for my chiropractor. If you're sitting here, it's because you know that you're here to get results. You are probably sitting next to somebody, or in the last couple of weeks sat next to somebody who drove an hour or two or more to come see us. And in some cases, and I don't love it, and we're working on it from a systems standpoint. That's part of my job as clinic director. But I don't love it, but it's worth the wait. And I know that you don't love it either. Nobody likes to wait. But it is worth the wait because it doesn't get better than this. I will go to Phoenix for my cardiologist. I will go to Cleveland for my surgeon. I will go to my own office for my chiropractor because she's that good. And I'm not a chiropractor. I have a PhD, but I am perhaps the world's greatest evangelist for chiropractic. And I'm going to be an even bigger evangelist for what's going on in our office. And I don't have to just say it because it's my office and it's my wife. It's because I believe it, and I wouldn't tell you. And I would tell you otherwise. I would tell you if it's not true. So, number one, miracles happen when you most expect them. Number two, do the things. Number three, whatever it takes. However far you have to drive, however long you have to wait, go to the best. And when it comes to chiropractic care, you're already here. But there's more to it than that. Taking care of your spine is more than showing up and getting adjusted. It means if you have to reschedule, follow the recommendations. That means if you have to reschedule within 7 days. Come in as quickly as you can after. If you know you got a vacation coming up, do a few before you come in, do a few after. But stay on schedule because that is vital. And another one, which we just had a meeting about this, one of my first meetings back. I mean, I had heart surgery 2 weeks ago, but I had my first staff meeting, I think it was the day I got out of the hospital, or the day after I got out of the hospital. And one of the things we talked about was home care kits. When you started care here, at your 4th or 5th visit, you would have gotten a bag with your home care kits. And your recommendations are tailored specifically to you. And if you're not going to do your home care exercises, you cannot expect the results that you're going to get. Taking care of your spine means adapting your habits and doing the therapies at home that you have to do. And I've already spoken with Dr. Marissa about this, and we came to an agreement. We both agree that if you come to your progress evaluation and you're not getting the results you want and you're not doing your home care exercises, and for whatever reason you're not able to do it, you may have to step up in frequency, because the home care kit is something that's free for you to do at home. You don't have to pay anybody to do it. You just have to do it. But this is something that is there to help you get the better results so that you can make it to your next adjustment so that you get better results over the long term. So taking care of your spine is foundational. So your nervous system is your most important tool. It's either an asset or a liability. Our job is to make sure it's an asset. But if you're not doing your home care kits, you're not going to get adjusted, you're not going to stay on schedule, it can become a liability. And just like anything else in life, you know, well, if I want to build muscle, do I have to keep coming? No, there's things that you can do, but it's going to be a lot harder not to. And so our job is to set you up for success. As a final wrap up here, I want to remind you, number one, sign up for this workshop on October 21st. Bring a guest or two. That's why we're here. That's why we're holding it on a Saturday. And by the way, this was originally it was our big bash. It was our big anniversary bash. We've been open a little over a year, and we were going to have a big festival and bring in outside vendors and whatever. And then something happened, you know, when I'm in the hospital and we can't plan. So we're doing this instead. But we're going to have pastries and we're going to have things there for you. And it's highly important for you to bring a guest to this too. So make sure you do that. The next one is the Lunch and Learns. I am absolutely going to be asking you individually about coming into your office or your book club or your church or whatever and teaching this message. And some of this stuff is stuff you'll have already heard, but I want to come, and important part of spreading, informing, inspiring, and empowering is getting out and doing that and being that out in the community. So that is an important part about what we want to be doing here. So thank you for sitting through this video, and thank you for everything you're doing. Keep doing those things, keep getting adjusted, keep looking for miracles, and you're going to be just fine. Thank you, everybody. Bye, everyone.